the thing that we're going to be doing today is more so about just an introduction to Anchor framework. So a little bit of preface. Anchor is a framework in Rust to create Solana programs, or in other words, it is used for creating smart contracts with Rust. So, yun lang, framework lang siya. So, it is an abstraction of things na kumbaga built-in package na siya. So, yun, very definition of framework to make it easier, quote-unquote easier, okay? Quote-unquote easier to create smart contracts. So, siguro I'll be delving in na kagad. So, for this session, I'll be using my favorite editor. So I'm not gonna be using VS Code. I'm going to be using NeoVim. So the reason is I want my development to be more keyboard centric. So gagamit tayo ng tinatawag nating TUI. So it means Terminal User Interface. So yeah, so let's start. So how do we start with this? First, siguro gawa lang muna ako ng bagong file. So CD workspace. CD workspace. Then let's create a new Anchor project. So Anchor init, then the name of your project. So let's just say Anchor pod. So I'm just going to be creating a really simple smart contract in Anchor. So the idea is uh, we are going to be creating a smart contract wherein we can store SOL and we can withdraw SOL. So really easy idea. So from then on, pwede na kayong mag-isip ng anything related to DeFi since we're talking about storing and exchanging values. So yeah, so this is just a simple siguro papitik lang in terms of how what can you do with smart contracts. So later if you guys have questions, so feel free to uh, put a message on sa chat. So ayan. So first command is anchor init anchor vault. So while waiting, if you guys have questions, wala, okay lang. Nag-load lang. So I hope you guys are following me. Better if you guys are doing it. So yun na, meron na ako. Then mag-CD lang tayo inside of the anchor vault. Yan. Then sa akin kasi NVIM ay VK. So meron kasi akong ginawang mga bash aliases. Pasok lang tayo. And then this is the folder. Makikita nyo. So siguro let's just walk through yung ano ba yung mga important files talaga dito. So first off is we have the programs folder, which is this. So dito nakalagay lahat ng gagawin yung most code related to your smart contract. Then magkakaroon siya ng file called lib.rs. So ito yung default na code niya. And then meron tayong cargo toml. So siguro you guys can think of this as package.json sa TypeScript. And Anchor toml, so this is configuration then for yung mismong Anchor deployments and anything related to the Solana environment ng Anchor toml. So makikita niyo dito. So quick walkthrough lang. So marami siyang configuration. You guys can check official Anchor documentation for this. So makikita din natin dito yung provider. Pag sabihin, anong testnet ba yung gagamitin natin dito? Okay. Then if we're deploying on localnet, devnet, or mainnet, pwede natin palitan yung mga program ID dito. And then the script for running test. So let's go to the test. So here's a simple test. Yan. So nag-error siya kasi hindi pa naka-build yung smart contract natin, which we will be doing later. Then, so kung mapapansin nyo, meron tayong mga TypeScript related na mga files. So tsconfig, package.json. So since the way we usually test the smart contract is using just a mock the client. So ito yung ginagawa ng test na yun. So isipin nyo, ang test is kind of like your front end already and how it interacts with your smart contract. Okay, so that's the purpose of the TypeScript, but not necessarily TypeScript or JavaScript node environment yung gagamitin. You guys can also use Rust for that. So mas mabilis. So it depends on your skills and your kung ano mang personal choice niyo. But for this papakita ko lang muna yung TypeScript. And then yan, may yarn lock. So this is already generated by Rust. By yung yung cargo natin, which is kind of like npm in node environments. So yan. So just a quick walkthrough lang din naman yun. So yeah, let's just dive in. So if you guys have questions, feel free to chat. Wait lang. I-check ko lang kung baka kasi may nag-chat. Okay, so wala. Okay, so let's just continue. So first is let's just define first ano ba yung mga kailangan natin sa smart contract. So easy lang naman yung gagawin natin. So we are going to be having two kinds of instructions. So when I say instructions, you guys can think of this as ano ba to? So sa Web2, you can think of it as like yung endpoint. So what I mean by endpoint sa backend services niyo yung tinatawag niyo na /API /API v1 users and v1 users. So the instructions that I'm referring to are this thing. Okay, so we are going to be creating two instructions, or in this case, in terms of sa point of view ng programming, we're going to be creating two functions of a smart contract. Okay? So in Web2, you guys can think of it as like endpoints. Okay? So let me just copy this. Mabagal pa po ako mag-Vim motions, so excuse me on that. So gagawa na natin ng deposit here, then withdraw. Okay? So now we have two functions. So the idea of deposit and withdraw, so we are just exchanging values between the user, or you guys can think of the user as the signer, or it could be synonymous to yung phantom wallet niya. Okay? And then, so sa part naman ng deposit, the idea is we are putting Sol inside of the smart contract, quote and quote. Okay? Then, sa withdraw naman, we are taking the Sol na nilagay natin, or the Sol na deposit natin papunta sa smart contract. Okay, since we already have the two functions, let's just remove this. Okay. So next is we are going to be creating a context. So to make it simpler for you guys, kasi medyo big topic ang idea ng context. Siguro to make it simple for you guys, pag sinabi kong context, those are the list of the accounts involved in a particular instruction. Okay? So, ulitin ko ulit. So, pag sinabing context, it is a list or a struct. Okay, struct. Okay? It is a list of accounts that are involved in the instruction. So, yun yung next natin gagawin. So, siguro papalitan ko lang yung name ng context natin. I'm gonna rename this to Vault. So, they're going to be using the same name. Okay, then palitan natin. Vault. Okay? So, siguro sa mga next remaining na code, kala mo patapos na kagad din. Or next remaining na code, I don't want you guys to focus on the how complex the code looks like, but more so try to look at the bigger picture of the code. So if you guys already know programming, huwag kayo mabug down sa sa idea ng Rust, ano tong macros na to, ano tong pubstruct na to. So essentially, if you guys are already familiar with programming, you guys can infer that this is a function, Okay, so it is a public function with the name na pangalan niya withdraw. Then here are the arguments. Then ito yung return type ng function. Okay? So ganun lang muna. So here is we are going to be defining naman dito sa context na to, which is nakapasok dito as a generic dito sa context. Okay? We are going to be defining what are the accounts involved in creating or doing this deposit sa withdraw. Okay? So I'm just gonna be adding some boilerplates. You guys can actually copy paste this. So siguro after this session, I'll be creating a repo for this. So si-share ko na lang siya sa chat later. So yeah, I'm just gonna be continuing with the boilerplate. So first and foremost, every time you create context, add yung info na to. So don't ask me why for now. Just gawin niyo lang muna. Okay? And then here is we're going to be defining the accounts involved. So the first account that's going to be involved is the signer or kung sino man yung magde-deposit. So let's just name it the signer. So pub signer. Okay? Signer. Then magkakaroon tayo ng, so i-define natin siya as the signer. So may mga interface na kasi tayo na galing dito sa anchor.prelude. You guys can check this at sa may official documentation naman sila. Okay. So the signer, then we're gonna be adding the info. Ang tawag sa kanila lifetimes, if you guys are wondering. If you guys want to do advanced studying in Rust, itong info na to, itong part na to, if you guys see this pattern, this are called lifetimes. Okay? So it has something to do yung phantom data and basta anything related to Rust. Okay? About yung mga borrow checking. Yeah, yun yung mga ideas. Okay, so now we already have yung signer natin. And then we are going to be creating an account inside of a program. So the idea is the program we are going to be creating an account that is owned by the program. So those are what we call PDA, so program derived addresses or accounts. So how do we do that? So let's just create another field here. So let's name this Vault. Then it's just gonna be a system account. So the idea is system account na wala siyang data, but it has the capacity to hold sol. Okay? So system account. So basta again, so I'm reminding you guys, do not focus too much on yung may mga lifetimes at info. Just focus on this. So isipin niyo na lang ano siya sa Java, it is a POJO, plain old object. So meron na tayo niyan. So here are the fields of that POJO. Okay, then next account is the system program. So the reason why we need to add the system program is, so system program is a built-in smart contract or a program in Solana. And the main responsibility of the system program or the system smart contract is to manipulate accounts. So it could manipulate your account or yung mismong phantom wallet nyo when we are sending sol to whatever. Okay? It could be also used for system account for creating accounts. So the reason why we need to import system program is because we are creating an account called the Vault, which is owned by this program. Okay? So system program. So again, reminder, just focus on the code. Just focus on the ideas, not the code itself. Kasi eto pwede nyo itong mahanap sa internet. Okay? System. And then we are going to be adding macros here. So the idea of macros is to add constraints sa mga accounts. So for example, since you guys already know the idea of PDAs, so we are creating a vault, okay, that is owned by this program which is called Anchor Vault. And then we have yung mga simple accounts such as your Phantom Wallet. Okay? So the reason why we need to put constraints on that is we need to add those constraints on our context is because paano kapag nilagay natin sa context yung phantom yung wallet nyo pero hindi naman pala siya part ng smart contract nyo. So we need to add those constraints para hindi na kaagad mag-push through yung isang instruction. Okay? So let's start off with signers first. So how do we do that? So just follow this macro, okay, account. Then just put mute. So ibig sabihin ng mute is mutable. So it means we are letting Anchor know that this account, this signer account, okay, is pwede nating i-manipulate yung data niya or yung sol. Okay? So that's just the idea. Okay, next is we're just going to be copying this since almost the same lang naman yung yung idea. So dito, magkakaroon tayo ng ibang constraints. So for this instance, we are going to be adding the word or the keyword or the constraint in it. So what it does is it tells Anchor that this vault is not yet created and it doesn't have any sol inside yet. Okay, and it needs to create it. Okay, it needs to create the idea that this vault account that we're passing in will be a program derived account. Okay, so nag-show siya ng error. So pair must be provided when initializing account. So the reason why pair must be provided is that every time we do mutations on chain or on Solana, we always need to pay the validators. So doon po mapasok yung mga transaction fees. So sino magbabayad doon? The signer. So how do we do that in code? Payer is equals to signer. Okay. So space must be provided within it. Okay. Hindi, actually pala, hindi pala tayo gagamit ng init kasi we're not really adding particular data talaga. So we're just manipulating yung sol. So wala tayong nilalagay na idea ng string, integers, pub key sa loob niya. So mute lang pala siya. Okay. Let's see. Init must be, so tatanggalin pala natin siya. So pwede naman sa next time na lang papakita ko pa paano siya ginagamit yung real real life use cases niya. So siguro to give you guys an idea, yung idea ng init is, for example, you guys are creating the idea of mint accounts. So mint accounts are accounts used for creating fungible tokens. So dun siya gagamitin yung mga keywords na yun. Okay? So for now, mute lang din pala siya. I forgot. So meron na tayong mute. Then next is we have to add the seed. So the purpose of seeds is that we need to add constraints in a way na it is owned by this particular program. Okay? So what do I mean by that? So let's just do the code first. Okay? So lagay tayo ng signer ref as reference. Okay? So the idea is we may idea kasi hello? Yung ubo. Okay. So the idea of seeds is that how do we find the address or the account or yung actually address niya or yung public key ng vault account na to. Okay? Meron kasi tinatawag sa client side na find program addressing. So the idea is you just put yung seeds and then yung program ID nyo. And then you are going to be finding yung mismong address nung particular account na yan. So the reason why we added the signer is that every vault account that we are creating, it needs to be different from each other. So for example, I have two wallets and the first wallet created a vault. Hindi naman pwedeng yung si second vault mag-deposit siya pero on the same vault. So we are creating separate accounts for each signers or yung mga taong magde-deposit and withdrawing. So that's just the very point of seeds. So if you guys didn't really understand yung deeper level niya. So the idea of seeds is that it just makes the account more unique. Okay? So there are different ways of doing that, but for now, we're just sticking to 1:1 na tirada. So if there's one signer, there should be one vault. Okay? Oh, let's see. At invalid attribute. So seeds. Seeds. So seeds pala. Okay, and then I think we need to put the bump. So the bump, the idea is one signer can create 256 na account. So ang idea niya is the idea of the canonical jump. So there's a particular reason for bakit 256. But for now, isipin nyo na lang muna, you just need to add bumps whenever you have seeds. Okay? So, para lang di tayo overwhelmed. Dami ko nang sinabi. Okay? So, ayun lang yung need natin for the vault. Actually, this is already enough for us to create yung instructions for this. So, wait lang. Do we have questions? Questions pa? Ay, wala. Okay, so next is we are going to be adding an implementation to this vault context. Okay? So, ito na yung ano, you guys can think of business logic na mismo. Okay? So, we are going to be creating the implementations of the vault obstruct. Here. Impl. So, same idea lang din. Just copy first. Understand later. Okay? So, once you make it work, you'll understand everything. Info. Okay? So, meron na tayong implementations. Now, we have to write the business logic for deposit and withdraw. Okay? Pub, FN, then deposit. Okay? Then, let's just copy paste this. Then, rename this to withdraw. So, let's go first with deposit. Okay? So, this is more of Rust-related na mga practices. So, I'll just be doing the code. Mute, self. Okay? And then, we need to pass in yung LAM ports. So, LAM ports, if you guys don't know, so they are the fractionalized name for sol. So, I think 1 billion LAM ports is equals to 1 sol. Okay? So, they are the fractionalized name for sol. So, let's just name unsigned 64. Okay. Now, nandito na tayo sa deposit. We are going to be calling the system program wherein it will allow us to send money from our Phantom wallet to the vault. So we need, to simplify, we need three things. Okay? So first is the accounts. Second is the context, since every instructions has context, di ba? So we are also calling system program, and we also need the context for that. And then we need to do, so the third one is we need the instruction itself. Okay. So yeah, just so let account. So let's just create a simple variable here with the transfer struct. Okay. By the way, kapag nagkakaroon kayo ng problema wherein you don't know what to put, okay, you can always use your LSP. So sa VS Code, you guys don't know this, but under the hood, ang tawag dun sa mga linting errors na lumalabas, mga error signs na yan. For example, may makikita kayo na if this is intentional, prefix it with an underscore. So ang tawag sa kanila is LSPs. So language server protocols, okay? So they are the ones responsible for showing you the mistakes in your code. So ayun. So let's just import this. So na-import ko na siya. Then it will tell me the fields that are missing. So we have missing structure fields from and to. So let's just provide the accounts that this transfer struct needs. From, then to. Okay, so now we have the fields. So we need to fill them out with the accounts from the context. So the idea is, itong self na to, ang nakapaloob dito is yung tatlong accounts natin na nakalagay dito. Okay, so when we call self, the properties of self, we can get the signer, the vault, and the system program. Okay, let's just call the self, then the signer to account info. Again, boilerplate related things. Just copy that and copy lang natin. Okay, then paste. Okay, so ang idea is kanino manggagaling at saka saan papunta. So the signer, sa kanya manggagaling, papunta sa vault. Okay, I think this is self-explanatory. So we are transferring from, kanino ba tayo magta-transfer? Papunta. Kanino? Saan manggagaling at saka saan papunta yung isa-send nating vault. Okay? So we already have the first requirement is the accounts involved. So since we're calling the system program. So next is the context. So let's just also create a variable called CPX. Then we need to pass in yung CPI context. So again, this is boilerplate. You can copy this. I think this will make your life easier when you're doing Anchor related programming. So new, uh, yeah. So new. So this one is going to be requiring us two things. So the program itself, okay, and then the accounts that are involved, okay. So we need to pass in the program that we are going to be calling. Okay, so the program that we are going to be calling is the system program, and we can get that from the self system program account info. Okay, then okay, and then the account. So na-implement naman na natin sila. Okay, so let's just go back to lib.rs. Okay. So we just need to pass the accounts and then provide a semicolon. Okay, so done na tayo with the second requirement, and then the last step is we need to call the function with the transfer function that is supplied by Anchor lang. Okay, so transfer. Then you need to import this, yung may CPI context. Okay, and then I think it's done. So wait lang. So consider using result expect. I think let's try yung call action. And so ako na lang magsusupply niyan. Ayan. Ayan, wala nang error. So, ayan. So, almost the same lang din naman yung gagawin natin with withdraw. But, the only difference is we are going to be adding yung the idea of the PDA signing itself. So, another idea is PDAs don't really have private keys. So, medyo different yung approach when in terms to signing transactions inside of a program or a smart contract. So let's just copy what's inside here. So, and okay, and paste here. Oops. Okay, so now we are on withdraw function. So copy na lang din natin siguro yung result here para hindi siya mag-error din sa kaninang error natin. And we need to supply yung mga functions natin na nakalagay sa deposit. Self, with self, and then lamp ports. Okay, U62. Okay. Save muna natin. So, walang error, but this is going to be failing. Okay. Hindi pa pala. So, it's not going to be doing what it needs to do since same function lang sila. So, pag tinawag ko yung withdraw function, the idea is I'll still be storing the sol inside of the smart contract. Okay, so let's just change this to Vault. Then this is to signer. Okay. Yeah. Actually, sige, I want you guys to see the error. So paano kapag hindi ko pala nilagyan ng signer seeds? So siguro let's just continue with this para makita natin yung error mamaya. Okay? So the way we are going to be calling this, okay, since yung vault is we already added the implementation for the vault. Okay? So now we are going to be calling it in our routes or our instructions. So how do we do that? So call CTX. So this is what I'm referring to. CTX na to. Okay? And then the accounts. And deposit. Okay? So it's requiring us of LAN ports, which is we need to pass them on here. LAN ports, use stick for everything is gonna give any errors. Oh, ako kung ano naging problema na ito. Naming issue lang. So we could rename it later, pero okay lang muna yun for. Okay. And then let's just copy this. Let's go here. Oops. Okay. Okay, so deposit and withdraw. So let's just add yung isa pang parameter. Okay, I think this is enough. Now we can do the testing for the front end part. Okay. So let's go to the test. Okay. So how do we do this? So actually ito na siya. Pero sige, let's ano muna let's anchor build muna. It's gonna be taking quite some time. So ito yung joke sa loob ng Rust community. Ito yung one of the quote-unquote weakest points is that sobrang tagal ng compiling time ni Rust. But once it is already compiled, napakabilis. So pros and cons. Okay. Oh, ito matagal talaga. While we're waiting, do we have questions? Okay. Questions, guys. Okay pa ba kayo dyan, guys? I hope you guys are still doing okay. I think malapit na. Konti na lang. Yeah. 140. Hindi na lang. Siguro while waiting, let's just go on with, oops. Let's just go on with the test first kahit may linting error. So the way we are going, so isipin nyo itong sa TypeScript natin, this is how you are going to be calling it in your front end. So, okay, so let's just call yung withdraw and deposit function. Okay. So I think magkaka-error yung withdraw, pero let's fix it later. So let's just put deposit. Then here's where we pass in the args, which is yung LAN ports. So excluding yung context. Okay. New BN. So the idea of BN is it stands for big number. Since Rust or most low-level programming languages don't really understand the idea of floating numbers. So we use the idea of big numbers. How do we do that? So ganyan lang, i-convert natin siya into big numbers. Then we're going to be passing in siguro 1 million LAN ports. So this is in LAN ports, not necessarily 100,000. So not necessarily naka-solve. Okay? Then we need to pass in the accounts involved. So actually, we don't really need to provide everything here since explicit na siya doon. So the thing that we just need to pass in is the accounts. I mean this the signer. Okay? Then we are going to be ipo-provide siya ni Anchor mismo. So let's just create a provider here. In Anchor, get provider. Okay. May provider na tayo. Then let's just pass it here. Provider that public key. Okay. Yan. So now we have ito. So the idea is we're just testing if it's gonna work or if it's gonna fail. Okay. So let's just rename this to deposit. And then the same thing could be said with the withdraw part. So almost the same withdraw. Just name that test to withdraw. And then withdraw. Then same lang din naman yung arguments na needed for this. So I think this is already enough for us just to see if our smart contract works. Okay, so the building is done. So next is anchor test. Okay, so again, ulitin lang ulit natin. Okay, anchor test. Minsan kasi mabagal yung test validator. So test validator is yung, it's kind of like you're running Solana inside of your local computer. So ayan, so nagkaroon tayo ng error. So cross-program invocation with unauthorized signer or writable account. So the idea is we really need to pass in the signer seeds. Since kung wala yon, ang idea is anyone can withdraw from kaninong vault account man. So that's why we need to pass in those signer seeds. So let's just go back to our code in lib.rs. And then we are going to be updating this withdraw function. Okay. Then let's just pass in bump. Okay. Bump. Then it is magbabaro tayo of unsigned integer. Then we're going to be creating signer seeds here. Okay. Then signer seeds. Then self. So kung mapapansin nyo kung ano yung signer seeds natin dito, we just need to pass those here. Okay. Signer. Account info. Ito, mental gymnastics na to since fully abstracted ng Anchor. This is a way I have found a way to play around with the borrow checker inside of Anchor framework. So you guys can follow this along, or if you guys have better code for this, let me know. Key to as ref pala. Because we're passing it as a seed. And then we also need to pass the bump. Okay, the bump. Then spread operator. Then semicolon at the end. Okay. So ayan, signer seeds. And then for this is we need to pass in the signer seeds to the CPI context. Q with signer. Oops. Okay, at the end. Oh. Okay. Hindi tayo ng Vim motions. Then we need to pass in the signer as borrowed na signer seeds. Okay. So ayan. And then, so magkakaroon pala ng error to. So we need to pass in the bump from the instruction itself. I think, so babaro natin. Then the bump from the context. So bumps that vault. Okay, so let's go back to our test. Okay. Test. Okay, so wala na tayong babaguhin pala dito. So let's just try to run the Anchor test. Here, Anchor test. I hope. Okay, so everything is passing and makikita natin yung transaction signature. So if this was tested on DevNet, we can pretty much see this, or meron akong nakita nung kailan yung tinatawag na Aman validator. So ang purpose niya para kang magkakaroon ng Solana Explorer inside of your isipin mo na lang may React ka tapos nire-run mo yung React na yun na kayang gawin yung Solana blockchain and may user interface. So ayun guys. I think that's the last part of it. It is more of just showing you guys the process of creating a very basic smart contract.